Hey, everybody, it's CJ Graham. That's right, Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th, Part 6. And you're listening to Breaking the Fourth Wall.
Hey, what's up, guys? Christopher Stolle here, back for another Breaking the Fourth Wall. This one's going to be interesting because it's going to be about reviews. We are going to be reviewing some stuff. Let me try to get myself a little bit more in frame here. I have been sitting for a long time on a couple things, and it's time for me to actually sit down. I'm going to do 3 reviews. Fair warning in the beginning here, I'm going to let you know right now that it is going to be spoilers. I'm going to try to be light on the spoilers, but I'm going to give you my honest opinion of how we are thus far with Book of Boba Fett, because you guys know I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Season 2 of The Witcher, which I binge watched. Oh, there was another one. I was supposed to be a 4th one. I don't have a I don't have a graphic for it. So if I do it, I'm gonna have to do it without the graphic. I forgot about Cobra Kai season 4, and of course Ghostbusters Afterlife, which was the newest thing I just saw. Why don't I go ahead and start with Ghostbusters? Get that out of the way first. So we'll go ahead and bring that logo up for you guys. Ghostbusters Afterlife. Like I said, I'm going to give you a spoiler warning, but I'm not going to try to ruin the movie if you have not seen the movie or the TV shows. But I'm going to give you my honest opinion about the 4 shows coming up that I have binge watched through, been watching with it thus far. All in all. First and foremost, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Now, besides Star Wars, if there was a movie that I was most anticipating and looking for, it was the 3rd installment of the Ghostbusters movies. Now, I'm not talking about 2016. That was hot garbage. I knew it was going to be hot garbage. Not because it was an all-female cast, but because of who they chose to be the all-female cast. I knew that movie was going to be, a dumpster fire, and of course I was right. I own it because my daughter likes it. But when I sit down to watch Ghostbusters, I only watch Ghostbusters 1 and 2. And now I can honestly say I will sit down and watch Ghostbusters Afterlife. This movie I had mixed emotions about. Did I overall enjoy it? Yes. But what were some of the complaints, some of the issues? Why was it kind of a divisive film for me? First off, Egon's grandkids. I hated them. I honestly, there was nothing about them redeemable. I liked the non-related kid characters more than the 2 children that were supposed to be the grandchildren of Egon Spangler. I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but the little girl with the glasses and the boy who just, they were portrayed as your typical modern day douchebag emo kids that just, I maybe it's because of my age, I don't connect with them. I didn't find their characters compelling in any way, shape. Well, no, let me strike that. I didn't find the boy's character compelling in any way, shape, or form. I didn't care so much for the little girl. But she was the main lead of the story, and at least she had an arc. She was trying to figure out what was going on in the town. She was trying to figure out the legacy of her grandfather. She was trying to figure out why she was so nerdy and different, because she had a love for science, a love for physics. She was really smart, and like her mother, who hated Egon, completely believed that Egon was like deadbeat dad and everything else. Um, Basically, she was your typical I hate my father woman, and because of that, never told her daughter, the truth about Egon, mainly because the mom really didn't even know so much about Egon. Um, they never made it clear if Janine was the mother. which is kind of sad because I think it should have been Janine as the grandmother. I think that would have been fitting, but it is what it is. But the first portion of the movie where we're following the kids, they don't know anything about the Ghostbusters. They don't know anything about Egon. They're just getting used to this town and some of its legends and how Egon was considered like this dirt farmer who was just nuts. Nobody really knew what Egon was about. Was boring. It was slow. It was boring. I understand we were trying to build this story from 30 years in the past, to where it is today, and give us little hints and clues of what Egon was trying to do through the perspective of the kids. So I get it. I didn't agree with it, but I got it. But once shit started hitting the fan, when they found the Temple of Gozer, when they found that Egon had spent his whole entire life in isolation trying to protect the world from the return of Gozer, and had figured out the code of Gozer's constant returns. The last time being in 1984 with the original Ghostbusters, and then now, 2020, I believe, was the year because of that's when the Ghostbusters was supposed to come out. Um, it was, or Ghostbusters Afterlife was supposed to come out. It started getting interesting really quick. Um, and then when the kids started finding the Ghostbuster apparel like Ecto One and the Proton Pack and everything else, it started getting a little fun. Especially when they were trying to capture their first ghost, one that they called the Muncher. It ate metal. Um, it was starting to get fun. It was starting to get entertaining. The jokes were still very much hit or miss for me. Again, that I'm fair enough to say that I didn't like it because it was it felt forced. It didn't feel right to me. But that could be the fact of my age. Maybe it wasn't meant for me. It was meant for this generation. But the only reason I say no is because I do get the jokes of things like Stranger Things or like the remake of Stephen King's It, for example, which were more modern time. Even though it was taking place in the '80s, it was more modern time with the kids, and I think. I think it just landed better, and I don't know if it was the writing of the jokes itself or the delivery from the young actors, but it didn't work for me up until the halfway point, and that, like I said, that's when the shit started hitting the fan. Zool started showing up. The ghosts were starting to break out. The kids now understand who Egon is and what he was doing. The little girl, when they went to prison after capturing their first ghost, calls Ray at Ray's occult shop, and this is where it becomes a Ghostbusters movie to me, because now we're seeing the original Ghostbusters, or at least Ray at this point, and he gives this top story where he had lost faith in Egon. He actually terminated the friendship because he thought Egon was full of shit. Um, and ironically enough, that phone call, which got cut short by the sheriff, led to the grand finale in the film where the original Ghostbusters, the remaining three, show up to help fight Gozer and spring the trap that Egon had set up, years before his death. Um, and it was a Ghostbuster film. It was beautiful, especially the last portion after the battle, where I don't want to spoil this, but there was a very, very, very touching scene and tribute, especially tribute to Harold Ramis as Egon Spangler, and I will admit I teared up. It was absolutely a beautiful, beautifully shot scene. All the actors, including the kids, seem to really show genuine emotion uh, to what had occurred. Again, I don't want to spoil it. If you haven't seen it yet, for no other reason, you've got to see this movie for this scene. Because if you're a fan of Harold Ramis in any way, shape, or form, or if you're a fan of Egon Spangler and the original Ghostbuster films, you need to see this scene. It's just that simple. Overall, my overall view of Ghostbusters Afterlife, I don't think and it was anywhere near as good as the first Ghostbuster film. No way, shape, or form. I don't think it was even as good as Ghostbusters 2. But in that aspect, I don't think it's far beneath Ghostbusters 2. And it's leaps and bounds above Ghostbusters 2016. Uh, I think it's a fitting tribute to Harold Ramis. I think it was a well done film, and I think overall, if I were to give it an arbitrary scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 7. I think it was a very well done film. It was slow in the beginning, but if you can get through the beginning, it becomes a Ghostbuster film, and you can truly enjoy it for what it is. And it's fan service for the sake of fan service, but like I said with Star Wars Force Awakens a long time ago, what the fuck is wrong with fan service to the fans who enjoy these franchises? I I was overall thrilled with it. I was. That's Ghostbusters Afterlife. Let's jump into The Witcher season 2. Okay. This one was a little hard for me to get through. Um was it a good season? Yes, it was a good season. I'm not going to break down every episode, mostly because I don't remember every episode. But we start delving into more of the training of Siri. Uh, we're dealing with Yennefer's loss of her power. We have I know it's not her, but for lack of a better term, because I can't remember the witch's name, we have Baba Yaga running around trying to steal the power of the elder blood that's within Ciri, and of course the Witcher and the other Witchers, Geralt and the other Witchers are caught in the middle of it at their home base. Which again I can't remember the name of the base, which sucks because I love the books, I love the video games, and I do love the series. Overall, do I think the second season was as good as the first? No. The first was standalone. First season was absolutely great. That does not mean that Witcher season two was bad. I don't think it was bad at all. I just think it felt a little slow in the beginning, and then tried to cram everything together at the end with the wild hunt, with the discovery of Ciri's power could actually destroy the world. And bring forth, I think, another conjuncture event that happened that brought all the monsters in. They're starting to learn about that stuff and how the monsters came into the world, and it's like it was a lot of information dump in the last couple episodes, which was cool, but it felt forced because it did feel like the first couple of episodes we were just dicking around with series training, while this stuff could have been explained in better detail, if that makes sense to you. Um, so to me, it just felt like if they would have done 3 more episodes to this season and stretched out what they did in the second half of the season just a little bit, I think it would have landed a little better for me. But it still makes me feel absolutely thrilled that we got season 2. We had to wait forever for it, thanks to COVID and everything else. Um, I was happy to step back into that world. I'm thrilled that the cast is still looking good, and the stories are still there. This one mainly followed the Blood of Elves book for the most part. Obviously, a lot of creative licenses. I don't want to get shot by people who are fans of the book and it's like, no, they fucked this and fucked that. You're right, they did. But it's a TV show. Adaptations of books to TV and film never land the exact same way. So, for what it was, again, to give an arbitrary rating to it, I 7.5, 8 tops. Like it wasn't terrible. Like if season 1 was a 10 to me, then this would be about an 8, 7.5 to an 8. It again, if they would have stretched out the good parts just a little bit more, whether they put it further into the beginning of the season, or if they would have given a couple extra episodes at the end, so that way they had more time frame to really get into the meat and potatoes of the story, I would have been happier. But beyond that, I was not disappointed in season two. Now, speaking of not disappointed, again, I don't have a graphic, so forgive me that it's not there, but because I completely forgot I wanted to review this too. Cobra Kai season 4. The return of Terry Silver, some of the plot twists within this, the fighting, the All Valley tournament. Look, this is probably going to be the shiniest review I'm going to give. This show is absolutely phenomenal. I never thought in my life. I grew up as a kid. I grew up watching The Karate Kid. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. The next Karate Kid, even though that one was, not as good as the other three. No, not going to talk about the Jaden Smith reboot. Not at all, because just like Ghostbusters 2016, I'd rather pretend it never existed. But overall, I loved those films growing up as a kid. I love those films now. And even when I would sit and watch those films, I never once in my life thought to myself, I really, really want to step back into that universe and see what they're doing now. Until Cobra Kai came out. And oh my God, I can't get enough of this show. I binge watched season 4 in a day. Like, without a lie, I took a Sunday and watched episode 1 through episode, I don't remember how many episodes are in the season, in one day. I couldn't put it down, and now I'm regretting the fact that I did that, because now I gotta wait how long for season 5? Ghostbusters, Cobra Kai. I hated Johnny as a kid. I did. I hated Johnny Lawrence as a kid. He was a bully. Of course, you're supposed to hate him. You root for Daniel. I love Johnny in Cobra Kai, and season 4 is just that much more. The All Valley tournament, the cooperation between Miyagi Do and Eagle Fang Karate versus Cobra Kai, the twist, which again I don't want to spoil, but for people who haven't watched, just for the people who haven't watched it yet, everybody else, I know you're saying it's been out for a while, people should know it by now, but I'm still trying to be somewhat considerate to that. Um, the twist in the Valley tournament was cute enough as it was, and it really leaves you in season 5 wondering where do they go from here and how are they going to pull this off. And of course, the ultimate twist of what happened in the power struggle for Cobra Kai between Terry Silver and John Kreese. Again, I don't want to go into spoilers, but my jaw dropped. I said, "Wow, that is awesome! I love the fact that they're doing this. I love that there's still intrigue here for this. I love that everything that was set up previously with a lot of the characters, main characters or even sub characters like Tori, where you thought you had him solidified. The best way I can describe it is like look at Hawk, for example. I couldn't stand that little prick in the first couple seasons of Cobra Kai. The little stupid mohawk and thinking you're badass when you're like 54 pounds soaking wet and everything. I couldn't stand that little prick, and his attitude made it even worse. But the character arc and his story turnaround for him was absolutely phenomenal. They made me care for him, and I couldn't stand him when he first came on the scene and joined Cobra Kai and everything. I couldn't stand him, but they gave such a beautiful and organic character change to him that it made me feel for him. And they're doing that with a lot of other characters, you know, in both ways. I mean, look at for example, Johnny's kid, which I had his name for a moment and I just lost it. But he was a good kid who a lot of bad shit kept happening to. It kind of turned him dark with Cobra Kai now he's starting to kind of come back around the bend, and I like that. I like that they're doing that with him. And they are doing that with Tori, who up until this point, again, I don't want to spoil it, but up until this point, she was just a deadpan bitch. And of course, I understand she had a backstory that, like, her mother, her mother how she is and everything, and Tori had to fight for everything on her own and is kind of struggling to try to do this for everything. So I get the sympathetic passions to it, but what she did to like Sam LaRusso and all that, I really felt that she was kind of unredeemable, and I really kind of wanted her to be unredeemable. I do think that there has to be a character in there that's just you're done. You can't do anything more with this character. They are who they are. Not everybody needs to be Darth Vader or Kylo Ren. They don't need to be redeemed. Sometimes the bad guy is just the bad guy. And I really thought Tori would be that character, but as much as I believe that, I see what they're doing with Tori, and because of what they're doing with Tori, I'm on board. Let's the overall I could say about this show is I'm still on board. 4 seasons later, I'm sold. I'm on board. I want more. You leave me wanting more, which is as a TV show, that's exactly what you want to do to your audience. Um, and I mean the doors are wide open, and they were hinting towards there's gonna be personal opinion speculation. There's gonna be a return of Mike Barnes. Hell, there may even be a return of Hilary Swank's character from the next Karate Kid. I see those doors opening. I think they're there, and I think they would be a complete missed opportunity, especially for Sean Kanan. Missed opportunity if you don't bring Mike Barnes back. You got to have Karate's bad boy show up. You know what I mean? And I just I 9.5 out of 10. I cannot wait. Season 5 cannot come soon enough. Cobra Kai has been the show that I never knew I wanted, never knew I needed, but now I like a great book, I can't put it down. So that's my review of Cobra Kai. It's just an absolute pleasure of a TV show, and just makes me thrilled to go back to feeling like a kid watching Karate Kid for the first time, but in a very different world. All right, now, last but certainly not least, I'm a Star Wars fan. We got to talk about it. Let's talk about the 4 episodes, which the 4th episode just released today for the Book of Boba Fett. Let me preface this. I've been sitting for a while on doing a review for Book of Boba Fett. There is a reason for it. Number one, I was never a Boba Fett fan. Never, never. I thought he was an overrated character in the original trilogy. The joke is he had 5 lines in the first 3 films, and one of them was ah. He got his butt kicked by a blind guy with a stick. I outside of looking cool, I never thought Boba was a iconic character that so many other fans do. Is what it is, okay? I know you guys love him as much as I love Darth Vader, so I can't say nothing on it. But for me, Boba just never was that compelling of a character. And then he appeared on The Mandalorian, and what they did with him on The Mandalorian was tasteful and made me start believing in the character of Boba Fett, especially in this modern day, and kind of seeing him in a different light. He wasn't just some random bad guy in the film. He actually was somebody who rode the fence and actually has morals and a conscience, and you know, I felt that they portrayed him very well in The Mandalorian. Well enough to justify bringing out Book of Boba Fett season 1. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. The thing is that everything that they put out thus far, for the most part, has been fine. And I understand that it's supposed to be less of live action Star Wars pew pew blah 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 blah, and more like an outer space TV series of The Godfather. It's a crime drama, and a crime syndicate drama to be exact. And I'm down with that. And I do find some of the things that they're doing fascinating, like with the Sand People and the brother and sister of Boba vying for control of Tatooine, and and stuff. I do find these things appealing and all, but the difference between what they're doing with the Book of Boba Fett and what they did with the couple seasons of Mandalorian is night and day. Uh, Now, I want to be fair. I want to preface it this. I'm not shitting on Book of Boba Fett. I'm not giving up on it. Like I said, I am finding some elements uh, appealing. I want to see how they flesh out. I love that they're bringing in characters like Black Kristan. I don't think I'm saying that right. But the bounty hunter Wookiee and stuff like that. Like I like that they did this. I love the fact that they fleshed out characters like the Rancor, that they're not just angry monsters in the basement, and stuff like there are things that they're doing that I find fascinating, and the story arc itself and building for this power struggle control of Tatooine with the Pikes and the Trandoshians and stuff like that. Like I'm in. I want to see how this turns out. I want to see how they play it out. I want to see who else comes in. I want to see, and of course, being part of the crime syndicate and taking over, Jabba's business, for lack of a better term, it leaves the door open for seeing so many other iconic characters returning, bounty hunter wise. Like I would love to see Cad Bane show up. I would love to see Bosk show up. I would love to see Hondo show up. I think these are the perfect opportunities to have them appear. Uh, but of course, I appreciate the slow burn, and that's what it feels like to me right now. Like I'm not in 100% in this show yet. It's slow, but I'm hoping it's slow for the reason of being a slow burn. Like they want to draw out the story and really get into what's going to happen towards the end of the season, cliffhangering us for season two. Um, and if that's the case, then I applaud and I take back everything I'm saying right now. But as it stands right now, a lot of what they're doing just kind of feels like Boba regretting being a bounty hunter and just wanting to kind of sit at home and do nothing except for show his face every once in a while with a mare, and Fennec trying to basically control him from behind the curtain, because she's the one making the major decisions for the most part. Up until this episode, he did start being a little bit more Boba Fett in this episode. Like the rest of the world, I absolutely hate the biker gang, the moped Mos Espa, biker gang. It's stupid. It's stupid. If you wanted to have a biker gang in Tatooine join Boba Fett, then the dudes he killed at the end of this episode should have been the ones he hooked up with, not the little colorful freaking Power Ranger uh, scooter biker gang with I don't know. It feels weird to me. Like when you think about old school Star Wars, even the prequels, with cybernetic implants and everything else. It felt like advancement in technology and necessity. So when they repaired Fennec and everything else, that felt right to me. But the last two episodes feel very, for lack of a better term, cyberpunkish to me. I mean, people are just enhancing themselves and modifying themselves for the sake of doing it. Between the shitty bikes and the cybernetic implants, half the people looking like the fucking Borg from Star Trek. It feels very cyberpunkish, and I'm not digging that. That just feel. It's weird for me to say, but it feels alien to me for a Star Wars setting. Um, but neither here nor there. Book of Boba Fett at the end. Obviously, we're only 4 episodes in, so I'm not going to be as harsh as a show that I just didn't like. But as it stands right now it's just the weakest of what's come out thus far, television show wise. And I know we don't have a whole lot right now. I mean, I don't count Visions because I hate Visions. I know I'm gonna get shot here, but I hate Visions. I thought it was fucking garbage. It was absolute garbage. It was just not good. Not good to me. It made me more forgiving to other things. It wasn't good to me. But I mean, Book of Boba Fett right now is the weakest of the live action Star Wars stuff that we've seen thus far. But I'm putting an asterisk on that saying this is only halfway through the season right now. So shit could change once the story arcs start connecting together and we start getting into the power the war for the power of Tatooine. Um so my opinion can completely change and I'm open for my opinion to completely change. Uh in the weeks ahead as we, get ready to wrap up season 1 and see where we are there. I'll probably give another review on that once the season itself is complete. But as it stands right now, they need to step it up. I'm enjoying it for what it is, but it's not the greatest thing I've ever seen. I'm gonna go right down the middle with it, 5 out of 10. I'm just gonna say that I'm enjoying it enough to tune in every week, but I'm not as invested in it as other Star Wars properties that we have had from Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. And that's where I'm going to leave that at the moment. Guys, but I'd love to know about these shows and movies and stuff like that. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed this episode in capacity, hit that thumbs up button, share, comment, subscribe. Check out the other podcasts of Breaking the Fourth Wall Entertainment. And of course, guys, if you prefer them in audio only format, you can find us on Anchor.fm, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or wherever quality podcasts can be heard. Just look up Breaking the Fourth Wall Entertainment. And guys, I will be back. I'm getting Breaking the Fourth Wall back on track. I've been having some timing issues. I've been having some employee issues. I don't want to dog or down on anything. Just things have not been gelling up. The goal for this year is getting Breaking the Fourth Wall back into the format of releasing multiple episodes a week. Dealing with all types of different subject matters, whether it's conspiracy theory things with the Tinfoil Hat Society, whether it's Star Wars: Return of the Jedi, whether it's politics or worldview through Common Ground or What's in My Head podcast, or if it's just simply entertainment like I'm doing right now. We want to make sure that we're putting out everything possible to you, and I promise you, whether it's just me sitting here like I'm doing right now, I will get multiple episodes a week out to you guys very, very, very soon. Guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you for sticking it out with me. And I will catch you on the next Breaking the Fourth Wall. Have a good one.